Hey guys, it's Katie Taylor, and for today's video I have a sports layout using distress oxides as part of the best of 30 days of sketches. Here is a look at day 17's sketch, so let's dive right in.
Here is a look at the sketch for day 17. The sketch is by Laura Rumble for Lottie Loves Paper. And I am going to kind of switch this up a little bit. To me, this sketch looks very feminine with the butterflies and then the large sequins. I am not really a butterfly person. I love when other people use them. I just don't use them often. So I got the idea of scrapbooking these photos of our youngest son and his tennis partner. Tennis is something new to him, but he actually really excelled at it. So I'm going to be scrapbooking these two photos, and my little butterflies are going to be tennis balls. Now I have already cut those off camera. I will be stamping those here in a second, and those come from the Buddies Joey collection. So super cute. Joey is just someone who plays all the sports. He plays all day, and I think that's actually supposed to be a baseball, but we're going to see if it can pass for a tennis ball for this layout. So let me get my stuff. We are going to be working with some distress oxides, and I'll be right back and we can put this layout together. So here I'm just going to be using a plain sheet of white cardstock. It's not treated or anything. And I'm just going to turn over this Mowed Lawn Distress Oxide ink over onto my glass board. And then we are going to spray it with some water. I don't want a whole lot of water because I don't want to wait for my cardstock to dry. And then I am going to be using the packaging technique to apply it to this white daisy cardstock. So for the packaging technique, it is what it is. You just use any packaging that you have lying around. I know I have tons, I'm sure you do too. And you just pick it up, and I'm going to kind of go in the direction that the sketch is, which kind of starts at this bottom third and kind of goes up. Probably going to need to apply some more distress oxides on my layout. And then keep in mind my photo is going to, or my photos are going to hide some of this. So before I do that, I'll just turn this over, press it down, and then let me see what these two photos look like before I try to get any more. So it looks like I need some just down here and then up there. So again, and I can save that packaging for the next time. Or I actually took something out of it. Now I can reuse it. While that is drying, I'm going to take the back side of my Versamat and I'm going to place all of these little cardstock pieces so I can stamp those tennis balls and see how believable it's actually going to be that they are tennis balls. I'm just going to use black ink. If I was an overachiever, I would probably pull out some white embossing powders and do white to really make it believable. For my title, for the part of my title, I'm going to be using this thin cut. It's the Slim Alphabet. And I have some of our black core cardstock, and I've just backed it with some adhesive sheets. That way it's going to make it really easy to glue down once I get it cut. So I'm just going to lay out the word tennis, and then I'm going to be using my alphabet stamps for the rest of my title. So I believe it is dry, so I can bring it back in and we can start putting these places. The only thing I don't know is if I want to back those with anything. I don't think I'm going to. So I think opposite of what I usually do. I'm actually going to adhere my photos down first and then work with everything else later.
So I'm going to speed up the rest of this process video and just kind of walk you through the steps. I am applying some foam circles on the back of these tennis balls because I want all of them to have some sort of dimension. And now I'm going to work on that title. So I'm just going to pencil in a line where I want that thin cut title tennis to go. I am going to start with the S, and you can see here I am just peeling off those adhesive sheets from the back. Makes it super simple to adhere down to my project. I started with the S because spatially I knew that I wanted part of the title over my photo, and so it's just best to start there and work myself back. So like I said, this says tennis, and then I am going to use some stamps to stamp the word city meet. Now, this is one of my favorite alphabet stamp sets. It will be retiring, and it's on sale this month, so I'll leave a link down below, as well as links to everything I used in case you want to recreate this layout. So I'm just erasing those pencil marks. I was afraid that maybe over the distress oxides it wouldn't look that, or it wouldn't erase very well, but it did. So this is a method that I use often when I'm trying to just kind of sprinkle things places, is I just kind of drop them. You can see here my daughter decided to get in with the game. She loved doing that. And then I just drop them and kind of let them fall where they may. And believe it or not, 9 times out of 10, it works. So I only played with a little bit more and then went ahead and took the adhesive off of there. And then I am stamping play all day down at that by that bottom tennis ball. And this is also where my journaling will go. So I'm just using my T-ruler on the edge of my Versamat and then lightly penciling in some lines. And I'll use a black pen to journal and then erase those lines at a later date. So now I've pulled out the sticker sheet to fresh paint. Love just a couple of these images. You can see there that fire, and then there are a few sentiment strips that I wanted to put here and there. So I'm putting that one underneath that photo of my son serving, and then there are going to be a couple up over the top of him and his teammates. And then there are also some little yellow stars that I'll put here and there, mainly up by the word tennis, down by play all day, and then another one up over that photo, and then that little sentiment of him and his teammate. I did end up moving that flame by the tennis ball, and that was really fun. I'll add some shimmer brush to that later. So here is where I decided to ink around. Now make sure you watch, because right here I messed it up royally. Yep, I dropped it right on my layout. I can't believe that I did. Well, yeah, I can believe that I did that. So I'm going to finish inking around and then take a look at this layout and see how I can salvage it. So in looking, really the only option I have is to just do some paper tearing with some pattern paper peeking from behind. And believe it or not, if you believe in fate, I think that this was fate, because I think the paper behind these little tears is what really makes this layout. So I did ink up those tears just to keep in line with the rest of the layout. And right here is where I'm going to try a couple of pattern papers. Now, again, these pattern papers come from the Fresh Paint collection. So I'm loving this one because it says, dude, yeah, I don't know, a whole bunch of things that just kind of, you know, what teenage boys would probably say. Really love this black and white check. Really wish that I could use that. I really haven't even used it to date. I think I love it so much that it's kind of holding me back. So I end up going with the black and white words, but I want some to show around the edge. So I'm just going to trim some off of the top of this layout. I don't want to mess with the bottom because of that play all day and that tennis ball. And then I'm going to take 1/4 of an inch from each of the left and right sides. And then that way, just a tiny bit of that black and white graffiti paper will peek from behind. Now, there's no need for me to use this entire sheet, so I'm going to go ahead and gut it. And because I cut such a tiny bit off of that white daisy piece, I'm only creating a 3/4 of an inch frame. Now from this middle section is where I'm going to find the words that I want to show. So right here, I'm just kind of placing that tear just over some groupings, and I believe that I found a portion of that will fit perfectly. So I'm just measuring that hole to make sure I don't cut off any more than I have to. And then I will start adhering this down. So you can see right there, you can already tell that again, this paper tearing and this pattern paper from behind just made it work. I did get adhesive where I shouldn't have, because remember, there is no back to this layout. So I just took that off with my rub and remove eraser, which will make it really easy to adhere down. And then of course, just going to add some adhesive all the way around this white daisy piece of cardstock. And then I can just glue it down onto that frame. And you can see I didn't have to waste all of that paper, and now I have some more to save for other projects. So the last thing, I think I'm done. I'm just going to adhere this down and then bring the layout back out with the sketch and take a look and see how I did. So here's a look at the sketch. Again, I have the title, and then I have the photos, and then the movement of those stitched lines, and then where those butterflies were, I am using those tennis balls. And then ended up having the frame as well. Didn't really notice that to begin with when I first looked at the sketch, but I really like how this turned out. So here's where I'm adding that clear shimmer brush to the flame of that tennis ball. I guess you could say coming in hot, if that's what the cool kids say. And that's pretty much it. Here is a look at the close-ups of that layout. Again, I used some stamps that are now available through the Stamptacular sale. I'll leave links down below to all the products that I used. And if you liked what you saw, please leave a comment and give me a thumbs up. It helps YouTube show you more videos of the same. And then if you aren't already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button and sign up for notifications so you won't miss another crafty video. I'll also link the playlist for the best of 30 days of sketches down below so you can watch all the videos so far and hopefully be inspired. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. Have a wonderful weekend.